Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second round of the Midwest F2 season tonight. It's at the newly reconfigured Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. The 5.5-kilometer circuit features 16 corners, all of which have the potential to do something after this brand new layout is sure to open up for much more drama here tonight. The newly reconfigured parts of the circuit also include Turn 5, the hairpin down at the corner, Turn 9, which is now a banked sweeping left-hander instead of those off-camber chicanes. And then that snaking bit through Sector 3 has now also been slightly remodeled to kind of help the flow of the track a little bit. The two DRS zones, sure, to make up for most of the overtaking. And we do have ourselves a full grid here tonight. Very, very excited for that. And I tell you what, this has been... I really wanted to include this on the schedule last season, but I wanted to wait for the new layout to come out, and it has, and here we are. 10 seconds then until the start of the qualifying session. Really excited to see who comes out on top. I know for a fact El Majacco really liked the previous version of the circuit. Let's see if he likes this new one any better. Or if he doesn't like it at all. All 20 cars out on track. Let's see if we can file along with El Majacco here. Super softs in effect for tonight as he now heads across the line and in towards the first corner now, taking it from 5th all the way down into about 3rd. On exit of the corner, beware of the oversteer that you may have through turns number 3, 4, and eventually down into 5. Really got to play on the throttle through that series of corners in order to really get away from getting any oversteer down into now, which is turn 5, the hairpin that's been redesigned in order to promote kind of an overtaking, staying with it through 3rd gear instead of going all the way down into 2nd and even 1st if you need to. Back into the DRS section they go, in towards turn 6 and 7. Really got to make sure you're on it here. Don't want to take too much curb going through the corner as it really starts to get a little bit of oversteer there. Really try to flick the car back and forth as Jacko's actually done brilliantly there. Now into the DRS once again, this time from turns 8 down towards turn 9. You'll see coming up, turn 9 is now a banked left-handing NASCAR-ish corner, as you can see now, rather than the switching back and forth chicane that it used to be. Coming out now towards turn 10, 11, and 12. This section has also been nicely redone here as the braking zone is now kind of more straight in towards the corner rather than around that little bend before said corner. And this section here also been, I think, redesigned as well. Cake Thomas and Erect both having retired from the session, now VTEC also in it as well. El Majacco coming around these final few corners here through turn 16. Let's see what he's got. If it's any good, and it looks like A-Dub goes P1, Majacco goes 4th. But not a bad lap whatsoever from the Prima driver. That should be a very competitive lap time then. I tell you what, definitely look out for him at the beginning of the race. A-Dub taking pole position, Jonathan Duncan 2nd, GSR Ryan Rod's 3rd, Majacco 4th, Dusty 5th, Dirty Boy Jackson 6th, Beagle Hunter 7th, Josh Sr. 8th, Los Mandigos 9th, Valentine 10th, 11th is Killer XL, 12th is Shariah, 11th is Joko, 14th Spaceman, 15th Villeneuve making his debut, 16th Nicky 64, 17th is Kitten Petter, and then rounding out the field, Erect, Vatek, and Cake Thomas. None of them able to put in a timed lap. Now A-Dub taking pole position by a convincing 3.5 tenths. Himself and Jonathan Dunk battled for the win last week in Brazil. Let's see if they can battle for the win once again here in Abu Dhabi. Nearly ready to go. Remember, no formation lap in effect. The audio glitches still have not been resolved by Codemasters/EA Sports. So, we will have to continue without the benefit of our formation lap. 10 seconds to go. Very, very intrigued to see what this race will bring us. I'm excited for the battle into turn 1 and throughout the rest of Sector 1 and 2. Let's see what the newly reconfigured Yas Marina circuit can bring us here for the F2 drivers. And the lights now turning on here for round number 2 of the Midwest F2 season. 5 lights, and they're off. And it looks like now A-Dub and Jonathan Dunk have both gotten away quite evenly then. It does look like, however, A-Dub has gotten out to quite a clear lead down to the inside. I believe that was Dirty Boy Jackson on his former teammate of El Majacco. He does pick up the position there over the Prima driver. Great start then from the, from the Art. And there he goes. Around goes Killer XL towards the back. I don't think he's actually DNF'd then. I wonder who he's made contact contact with, but we saw him go around at the back of the screen, and unfortunately, that sort of thing just does happen. Jonathan Dunk, I believe, is up there alongside A-Dub now. Battle for the lead, side by side once again. These two just don't know when to quit. 2 weeks in a row now, they're battling for the lead. GSR Ryan Rods, he's in hot pursuit. Is he going to make a move, or is he going to watch it happen? And I think the second option is going to be the favorite here. Way into the back of A-Dub then. Contact again and again. Multiple times then was contact made. And I think, unfortunately, that has hurt Ryan Rods more than anybody. Dirty Boy Jackson, he's in pursuit. Yellow flag towards the back. It looks like Killer XL has gone off again, or perhaps it's Villeneuve. No, it's actually Erect back there. Down into turn 9 they go. GSR Ryan Rods hanging low in the corner. Definitely looking to switch it back around A-Dub then. Dirty Boy Jackson's going to look to the left-hand side as they go through into turn number 10. Very close battling it is indeed, and the field for now looks to be as if they are kind of calmed down. Kitten Petter and whoever that was behind him, Spaceman, were even Stevens there for just a minute. Oh, and it looks like someone's gone around. Big incident then. Couple cars having to really go around. Multiple cars. I believe it was the Carlin then. Someone went around. That was Kitten Petter, who had a little bit of an off. He was perpendicular on the side of the circuit, and look at this. I think he's actually going to have to stay out here without a front wing. Definitely going to be detrimental to him. Beagle Hunter is on his way in. He is the first victim of a wing change here tonight. But as it stands right now, Jonathan Dunk does eke out to the lead over A-Dub. DRS obviously not enabled just yet, but when that does, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of lead changes here tonight, as Cake Thomas now picking up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Very, very close indeed. Now, everybody who started on that soft compound tire is going to be off to somewhat of a disadvantage at the early start. However, not for very long. As we can already see, it is really even between the two compounds of tires. I would assume the soft tire is going to last you about 8 to 10 laps. As it looks like we do have a yellow flag towards the back. It looks like Spaceman's had a little bit of an off there. Shariah Coleslaw getting overtaken by Mandigos side by side then as they work their way through turn 6 and 7. And it looks to be have done very well. Beagle Hunter off towards the back. He's picked up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Cake Thomas now, can he find his way around Mandigos there? I believe that is the Dams. He's going to switch back down to the inside. Is he going to meet up with his teammate into the corner? It sure looks like they almost did. Shariah is out to the advantage so far. Cake Thomas still down to the inside, still looking for the position, and he does eventually get it. Great move then from the high-tech driver. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead still within 3.5 tenths now, plus Ryan Rod wants in on this well. Dirty Boy Jackson, don't forget about him, and then Jacko in 5th. Meanwhile, look at Valentine. He's made his way up to P6 off the start from 10th. That's a beautiful start from him. And it looks like we've got, I believe that's Nicky64, who's gone around then. Plenty of cars have gone off into the wall here. Nicky64, one of them. Killer XL, another one of them. DRS enabled. It looks like we may be on the verge of a virtual safety car, and it looks like the answer may just be full safety car then. I can't quite tell. It does look like virtual safety car is the option, as Dusty Lusky has now left the session. But I'm struggling to see what has actually come out here. Can I perhaps look at one of the boards on the side of the track? It does look like VSC is the option, and it is. So DRS enabled, but nobody has been able to use it so far. 3 drivers coming in. Probably eventually 4, being Beagle Hunter as well. DRS re-enabled as the VSC gets taken out here. Killer XL has retired from the session a bit early, 3rd lap of the Grand Prix, unfortunately for him. 0.5 of a second separating the top 2. El Majacco, can he start to find a way around Dirty Boy Jackson? All of the top 5, even Stevens, within tires. Cake Thomas looking to the inside on Josh Sr. then. That was a brilliant move, and it has been made. Nicely done then from Cake Thomas. He is surging his way through the field. It looks like DRS wasn't enough to help the drivers then from turn 7 to 9, but it does look as if it has been bunched up slightly more, which you do like to see. GSR Ryan Rod's heavy braking into the corner does keep it somewhat decently clean then, but already you can see Valentine, 2-lap-old super soft tires, has actually started to fall back from Majacco, who is on what would be the slower compound on the regular softs. Cake Thomas within 0.2 of a second now on Mandigos. These two have been battling for quite a minute here. Let's see if Cake Thomas can get anything done then. Doesn't quite look as if the move is ready to be made now, although these 3 drivers in hot pursuit of one another. Should look to be a good race. Erect looking to get around VTech here momentarily. Let's see what he's got. through the final corner. It looks like all is calm here for now, although what I'm really interested in is this battle for the lead. All four of the top four drivers within 2.5 seconds of each other. Majacko a little bit further behind. He's about a second and a half down now behind Dirty Boy Jackson. He will not be getting DRS. But as you see here, A-Dub, can he find his way towards Jonathan Dunk? Remember, this really will be for the outright lead of the championship as Mandigos, Josh Sr. and Cake Thomas all battling here. Cake Thomas has had to go really wide as Mandigos and Josh Sr. actually get by him. I'm kind of wondering what has happened in that whole... What has transpired there between those drivers as suddenly Cake Thomas was way off track to the right-hand side. Very interesting there. It looks like Erect getting, or was it perhaps VTech getting around Erect there? It was very close, no matter who it was, but a very nice move indeed. It looks like Nikki getting around Spaceman for the time being. Former teammates battling it out here as they make their way now into the DRS zone. Right here, Erect to the back of VTech. Down to the inside he goes. Can he perhaps find a move to be made? He's really going to look for it. VTech's going to go really wide, and Erect does nicely make the position happen. As we look back up through the field now, Cake Thomas within 0.3 on Mandigos. We'll check back in with that in a minute. Dirty Boy Jackson is now within 0.4 on GSR Ryan Rods ahead of him. Dirty Boy Jackson was the first pick of the F2 free agent draft, and he is now here battling for a podium with the ART team. As it looks like, ooh, who's that? GSR Ryan Rods has gone really off then and has allowed Dirty Boy Jackson to get that position, plus he has picked up 3 seconds of time penalty. Not what GSR Ryan Rods needed. Will that potentially open the door for Jacko at some point? I tell you what, Jacko, not necessarily pushing... This is going to sound really negative, but at the moment, he doesn't seem that competitive with the drivers ahead of him. Although maybe he's just kind of waiting for the opportunity to strike. Jacko is known to do that sort of thing. Big wiggle then from Dirty Boy Jackson. Somehow Ryan Rods wasn't able to make the move. Dirty Boy Jackson kind of wiggled into the path of GSR Ryan Rods. That will do it to you then. 0.6 of a second the gap between A-Dub and Jonathan Dunk. So far, nothing is able to be made there. Cake Thomas looking to the back of Mandigos. These two battling for position. Both of them on 3 seconds of time penalties. And it looks like he's just starting to fall back just ever so slightly as we look back up now. A-Dub within 0.3 on Jonathan Dunk ahead of him. Oh, and look at A-Dub is having to really pedal the car around these corners through Sector 3. Is he perhaps struggling with the car a little bit more than we can see? It does it as Cake Thomas getting around Mandigos then. That looked a good move. The battle for the lead now within 0.2 of a second. Who will get the advantage here as we start the 6th lap of the Grand Prix? Down into turn 1 they go. Jonathan Dunk still holding on to it steady. A-Dub in behind. This track not shy of forcing drivers to make mistakes. Who will be the driver to make the mistake here? We saw GSR Ryan Rods really got hindered because of that, and he has now dropped down to P4, plus a time penalty. Speaking of that, Dirty Boy Jackson looking to get around, I believe this is actually GSR Ryan Rods in pursuit of Dirty Boy Jackson here, and that is a very close battle indeed. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead, 0.5 of a second, and man, it just doesn't look like at the moment A-Dub's got enough to get around Jonathan Dunk. It looks very close indeed, but just does he have enough? GSR Ryan Rods looking down to the inside of Dirty Boy Jackson, and I think he thought better of it for the time being, as he really wanted to get down to the inside. And look at that, he's played it smart then, switched back to the right side on Dirty Boy Jackson, side by side, through the DRS they go. I believe that is the Dams that does have it. He's trying to stick it around the outside as GSR Ryan Rods, and he does. Very nicely done then, as he is, albeit temporarily, but he has taken back the position. As we look a little bit further back, Mandigos still trying to battle the... Ooh, Triangle does a thing. Still battling then with Cake Thomas. Mandigos still within 0.5 of a second. That battle has been quite close between those two. Dirty Boy Jackson doing his best to keep up with Ryan Rods here. A-Dub really has been making up the time through Sector 3, but then has been losing it through Sector 1. So, any progress that A-Dub in this HWA has been able to make has then been immediately lost. And see, this is what we're talking about. It just looks like A-Dub having to struggle with the car just ever so slightly more throughout this first series of corners. Then Jonathan Dunk just looks to be absolutely on rails, and A-Dub just doesn't appear to be that way. A little bit towards the back, it looks like Nikki64 and Erect battling it out. It looks like the two, the two Tridents, I believe, battling it out then. Or maybe a Trident and a one of them. Oh, that's right, Charuz is now actually that kind of bluish color. I don't know really why they've done that, but they have. Oh, and we do have a yellow flag off towards the back. It looks like, oh, has it been Erect who spun it around? Maybe Kitten Petter, one of them. I believe it is Kitten Petter. The battle for the lead now, still within 0.5 of a second. Jonathan Dunk has really been getting just simply better acceleration as Dirty Boy Jackson getting around Ryan Rod's then. Beautiful move to get back into the third spot. Down into turn 9 they go. Very close quarters between these two drivers. All race so far. It's going to be 10 laps to go at the stripe. This time by, it looks like Dusty and Valentine were side by side momentarily. Valentine back down to the inside. Still looking to make the move. Valentine is on a roll here for what will potentially be a career best F2 finish, if I'm not mistaken. Still side by side now. Both drivers doing everything they can as they go into turn 10. Side by side still. And oh, look at this. What has happened? Dusty Lusky has been caught up in somebody. Jonathan Dunk has received 5 seconds of time penalty for a severe collision, and A-Dub has gone off as well. What has happened? What have I missed? As it suddenly seems like Dirty Boy Jackson has taken the lead of the Grand Prix. Majako up to 3rd, Valentine to 4th, and then Valentine coming in. Man, what has happened between A-Dub and Jonathan Dunk? I have no idea what those two drivers, what mess they've gotten themselves into, as it looks like a round of pit stops starting now, as A-Dub has retired from the session in the pits. So A-Dub, I'm not entirely sure what's happened. All I know is Jonathan Dunk has received a 5-second time penalty and then has dropped back to the 5th position, so A-Dub and Joko both retiring then. I've missed something absolutely crucial then, and I'm not quite sure. Jonathan Dunk, can he find his way around Dusty here? Potentially, he's going to look down to the inside, and now you can see the softs really just simply better than the super softs at this point in time. But it's still side by side, though. Good battling this is. Who's going to have DRS? It looks like it will be Dusty Lusky. Is he going to be able to keep up with the MP then? The MP of Jonathan Dunk really switching to the outside there, letting Dusty have the inside. Although I feel like it may be a little bit more tricky to overtake towards that inside. I tell you what, not easy whatsoever. Still looking for it then. And it looks like Jonathan Dunk has the advantage for now. So that moves Jacko up to the 3rd spot. Ryan Rod's in 2nd, although it looks like Jacko will be taking that 2nd spot once the penalties come into play. Dirty Boy Jackson does have the lead. Yet again, I'm wondering, Jonathan Dunk and A-Dub, what has happened between those two? Do we have anything in the F2 Discord? That's what I'm, Killer XL got 4 warnings and 3 seconds for entering pit road. Something is up with him, not quite sure. And, A-Dub has apologized to Jonathan Dunk then, for what I'm not quite sure. But either way, Jonathan Dunk will probably take somewhat of an advantage over at least him in the championship. As it was only a 2-point gap, however, it may be simply even Stevens at the end of this within the top 4, as Dirty Boy Jackson's up there, Jacko's up there as well. So, lots to be unfolding here so far. As Mandigo's trying to get towards the back of Cake Thomas. These two have been battling it out for quite some time now. Dusty Lusky, he's still trying to find his way towards Jonathan Dunk. You can start to see the graining on the right front tire of the Trident of Dusty Lusky. Really, that super soft tire just not really at its optimum point anymore. As it looks like Erect and VTech, those guys were side by side, still are side by side as they enter turn 6 and 7. Beagle Hunter, 3 seconds of time penalty, multiple warnings for him. It looks like a little bit further back, Valentine, after his pit stop, has dropped back to P11, although he does have a bunch of drivers ahead of him with time penalties, so he may be off to a decent result after all. Looks like the field's starting to be slightly spread out now, but mind you, these drivers who have stayed out on the super soft tire, or on the soft tire rather, they will still need to come in. because you do need to make that mandatory stop. And now in comes Cake Thomas. This is kind of what we were looking for here. Dusty Lusky on his way. No, Dusty Lusky, what's happened with him? What has happened with Dusty Lusky here? His car going very slowly through this first section of corners. I'm not quite sure what's happened just then. See, look how slow the car is going. What's actually happened? It says he's in the pit. That's slightly interesting then, as Valentine has to have 3 seconds to get around Dusty Lusky. Then what is... Now he finally back up to speed. What was that? That was the strangest of incidents I've seen then. Contact then between the... Oh. Okay. Anyways. Valentine is at 3 seconds. I believe that was to get around Dusty. What has actually happened with that? Oh, and VTech has spun it round. Somehow he's kept it off the barriers for the most part, and he's kept the car okay. That's good news for him. Spaceman picks up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. As the field now starts to be spread out just a little bit. Kitten Petter, he's looking to get around Cake Thomas here. Both drivers on relatively fresh, super soft tires. Or at least I believe that to be true. Kitten Petter's on 7-lap old super soft, so I guess maybe I'm wrong. Into the pits now comes Ryan Rods, Jacko, and Jonathan Dunk. As you can see, Jacko getting the tires fit and now being released. Josh Sr. on his way. Mandigo's on his way in as well. The only one who has yet to pit out of that initial group now is Dirty Boy Jackson, who still is on those initial soft compound tires, 10 laps old. I would assume he'll be making his stop within these next couple laps. Mandigos apparently wanted the stop after his teammate of Ryan Rods. The team wasn't ready for the double stack, and now out he comes now. That was a severe disadvantage from the Dams team. I don't believe he really knew that his teammate had pit ahead of him. I'm sure he knows now, as Kitten Petter picks up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. Cake Thomas moves up to 10th. Mandy goes coming out of the corner now. It looks like this might actually be quite the race here. No, Cake Thomas, I believe, is actually... No, he's actually still behind Mandigos. So Mandigos has taken the position, has performed the overcut on Cake Thomas, and has made it work. So now the question is, when does Dirty Boy Jackson choose to come in? He will, I would assume, eventually be losing the lead once he does stop, although it is a 28-second gap. He might just keep it. You never know. I didn't have any notes on how long the pit window was. We're assuming it's at least 25 seconds, probably more from, probably about 30 from entry to exit, as now in comes Dirty Boy Jackson. As GSR Ryan Rod's only making his way into turn 10 now. So Dirty Boy Jackson on his way in. Let's see where he comes out. Shreya Coleslaw and Dusty Lusky battling then. That looks a good battle. Right close quarters with those two drivers. That looked quite fun, Matt. Dirty Boy Jackson, super softs going on. Oh, and I think it's a little bit of a slow getaway then. Dusty Lusky finally rejoining the session. But now does GSR Ryan Rods find his way around Dirty Boy Jackson? Yeah, he will. GSR Ryan Rod's going to take the lead of the Grand Prix. So GSR Ryan Rod's in the Dams, takes the lead of the Grand Prix. However, he does have the 3-second penalty to worry about. Cake Thomas now picking up 3 seconds for multiple warnings. So Jacko gets out ahead of Dirty Boy Jackson, but only just. That battle may be heating up quite shortly, as this really will be the battle for the lead between former teammates. Sparks flying out the back of Elma Jacko's. Something's happened there. Dusty Lusky's left the session again, as it looks like Spaceman and Villeneuve battling it out here. Villeneuve actually on his way in, as it looks like Mandigos has actually picked up 3 seconds just then. So it looks like the majority of people on track have 6-second penalties. Cake Thomas and Mandigos, both of them, side by side now, heading down the DRS section, going towards turns 6 and 7. This has been a great battle here between these two drivers all night long, and Cake Thomas has it for now, but will Mandigos try to switch it back to the inside? And I think he just runs out of room, doesn't quite have the room to make that maneuver happen. However, DRS will be enabled for the Dams here. Let's see what he's got. Can he perhaps find a way around Cake Thomas? Let's see what he's got. He's going to look to the outside. That's a bold maneuver. Can he switch back to the inside? He does look for it. Has to slow down in order to make the switch back. And I think, Cake Thomas has run really wide then, and Cake Thomas has lost it. picks up 3 seconds of time penalty for his troubles. But goodness gracious, I think he's just barely got that one wrong, and he falls back down to P11. So unfortunate then for Cake Thomas, and I think unfortunately his attempt at getting a top 10 might just be over. Josh Sr. having himself a good day, P7 at the moment. Dirty Boy Jackson now within 0.2 of a second on Elma Jacko. Can he find his way? He's going to look to the outside. Jacko's going to cover it off. Then back down to the inside. It's going to really be side by side as they enter this next corner. Jacko seems at the moment just has the sheer straight line speed advantage. Down into turn 6 and 7. Who's going to get it? It looks like Dirty Boy Jackson clearly has the inside. But is Jacko going to be able to hang there? He looks like he will. Really, and he jumps over the curb then. And it looks like Dirty Boy Jackson has really gotten his elbows out then and has forced Majacko out of that position. DRS still enabled though for the Prema. This battle, I'm sure, far from over. As to the line this time, we're going to have 4 laps to go. Josh Sr. battling Shariah Coleslaw here. It's been a great day for the Virtuosi team. Both drivers within the top 10. Valentine about to perhaps find himself in a career best 4th or 5th. Jonathan Dunk, if he can salvage P4, that would be outstanding for him, considering the mishap that happened with him and A-Dub. I believe perhaps he would still retain the lead of the championship. It would be close. I think Dirty Boy Jackson at that point probably would take it, but it will be right close at the top of the leaderboards after 2. Valentine battling it out here with Jonathan Dunk in behind. Cake Thomas, 3 seconds of time penalties, up to 15 for him. Man, oh man, it's not been his day. That is for sure. 4 laps to go. Elma Jacko barely outside of that 1 second gap. It's not going to have DRS this time by. Dirty Boy Jackson, thankfully for him, he doesn't have DRS either, so maybe, perhaps, if Jacko can run cleanly, he'll find a way. Jonathan Dunk now looking to the back of the Virtuosi of Valentine. He's going to switch back to the outside, and I think, I really don't even think he would need DRS then. He's made that move quite comfortably. Valentine, however, still in a good spot. He won't be losing this 5th position if he keeps it. He's got 8 seconds back to Shariah Coleslaw, so assuming Valentine can keep it clean for the next 3.5 laps, he will have himself, I would say, a career best P5 in F2. Perhaps I'm wrong. At least in the new version of F2. I know the old version, me and him battled it out for some sprint race victories. But in this new season, so let's say season best then for Valentine. Josh Sr. now, he's battling it on Shariah Coleslaw here. Great day so far for the Virtuosi team. This would really help them in the constructor standings. GSR Ryan Rod's out to a 3.5 second lead roughly. Elma Jacko still looking to break that DRS barrier back to Dirty Boy Jackson. He's not been able to do it. Dirty Boy Jackson at this moment in time will be taking the win. And it looks like, oh, something's happened there. Dusty Lusky has spun it round going under the hotel. It looks like he's regained his composure with the car. But that was a very unfortunate turn of events then for the Trident driver. 3 laps to go. Elma Jacko looking to the back of Dirty Boy Jackson once again without DRS. Looking to do whatever he can. Josh Sr. looking to help his teammate out here by perhaps getting around Shariah Coleslaw and maybe holding him up so Valentine doesn't lose the position. Valentine, meanwhile, only a second and 1.2 seconds back to Jonathan Dunk, so, I mean, you never know. And it looks like GSR Ryan Rods, despite his penalties, won't be losing out on the podium. Someone's gone off back there. It looks like it might be Cake Thomas, and unfortunately it is. He's taking a trip to the grass. Very unfortunate for him. As it looks like, oh, another yellow flag. It looks like perhaps has Villeneuve gone off back there. Perhaps he has. Can Josh Sr. find his way around Shariah Coleslaw? 0.5 of a second is apparently quite the gap to get around it, as that has really been, even that amount has been so hard to overcome. Next week, remember, F2 and the rest of the league head to Canada for the 3rd round of the Midwest season. And boy, that usually is one hell of a race. 2 laps to go. Josh Sr. within half a second. El Majacco still struggling to find that move to Dirty Boy Jackson that would further put him back into DRS range to compete for the win. He's got 2 laps to do it. Looks like Josh Sr., can he find his way to Shariah Coleslaw? These two have been battling for a couple laps now. The move hasn't been able to have been made yet, although I have a feeling it may shortly happen. Only 0.5 of a second the gap. Nothing is out of the question. DRS wide open for the Virtuosi. Into turn 9. Let's see if anyone can find perhaps some sort of way better through this corner. Oh, and it looks like, no, don't tell me. No, Jacko's okay. It looks like his teammate, a Feagle Hunter, has had a small off then. My heart suddenly stopped working there for just a moment. With the final lap of the Grand Prix now. GSR Ryan Rods has the on-track lead. Dirty Boy Jackson will have the lead and will have the win, assuming he can keep it clean for the next lap. Josh Sr. still trying to hunt down Shariah Coleslaw through the final corner. Can he find a way? Dirty Boy Jackson, all he needs to do is keep it clean. It's not exactly an easy task to undertake, but one that I'm sure he's capable of and one that will earn him the win if he is able to complete it. Shariah Coleslaw, 7.5 seconds back of Valentine. Valentine at the moment will keep his P5. El Majacco now outside of 2 seconds. Josh Sr., can he find a way around Shariah Coleslaw? It just simply doesn't look like the move is going to be able to be made. Oh, but hang on a minute. Shariah's gone deep into the corner. The opening might be there for Josh Sr. No, and he spun it! No, and he's lost the car all on his own! And Josh Sr. gave it everything he could, but Shariah's going to walk away scot-free. But in the meantime, GSR Ryan Rods coming around the final couple corners now. It will not be his win. He has 6 seconds of penalties. Dirty Boy Jackson making his way out of turn 16. He will win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. El Majacco will be taking second place, and he, you could believe, is back into form. Jonathan Dunk will be coming across the line to take fourth. Valentine, a beautiful effort from him. He will take fifth. Shariah, rounding turn the final corner now, will take P6. Great effort from him to salvage points for that high-tech team. Mandy goes a pretty solid day from him. I do not believe we'll be holding on to that P7. No, he won't. He's going to drop down to 9th. So it is Dusty Lusky taking 7th. Josh Sr. 8th. It's been a great day for that Virtuosi team. So after it's all said and done, Dirty Boy Jackson, up from P6, taking the win. El Majacco, his former teammate, finishing in second. GSR Ryan Rod's third, Jonathan Dunk fourth, Valentine fifth, Shariah Coleslaw sixth, Dusty seventh, Josh Senior eighth, Mandigos ninth, 10th is Erect, 11th is VTech, 12th Spaceman, 13th Nikki 64, 14th is Cake Thomas, who was really due for a better day than he actually had. Villeneuve 15th, Kitten Petter 16th, Beagle Hunter 17th, A-Dub, Joko, and Killer XL, none of them able to finish the Grand Prix. Well, it was a very exciting one, and it's going to be even better when next week we go to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for round 3 of the season at Canada. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.